Welcome. Today we're going to be looking at how we can use Oracle date types, using them with functions, and especially how we can use them in the where clause so we can limit the results based on the contents inside the actual date data type, and using that to do some queries and find out information inside a database query. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. As you can see right here, I have my base query right here, where I have select prod name as product name, prod next ship date as next ship date from product. And before we go into detail on the actual query itself, you want to make sure that when you're writing your queries and when you're designing tables, and especially when you're using your as command to give yourself information, make sure you give names to your columns and your information that are very useful to other people. Don't assume it's going to be great for you and that shorthand is a good idea. Don't ever use shorthand when you're doing this. You want to make sure you give names that are easily and understandably available for anyone who's going to be working with this, and don't assume that English is their first language, because simply abbreviating something as prod or prod next ship date, give it some information. You can spell out the word, use underscores to separate it. The snake case is there for a reason, and so give better designed things when you're describing information. It'll make your life easier in the long run and be able to make code good for other humans better than it is for the computer, because again, we care about writing code for humans so that humans can read it and understand what's happening and not having to worry about this later on for other people. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. The next thing we have right here is you can see we have my two columns of data we're working with. We have product name and next ship date. And so we have a couple different values here that aren't being used because they have null values in that. We have a total 10 rows selected. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the extract command on a date. And so the extract command is how I can take out part of a date and actually look at that. So let's go ahead and we'll scroll down here. We'll pull that query up. And as you can see right here, I have my select prod name as product name. Again, better naming conventions is always good to use. I use the as command to explicitly call out what I'm doing. I don't just simply give a name, because by using the as command, I am saying to my users and my other programmers and other humans who might come across my code later on what I'm doing. So don't assume things, express them. Better code, better human. And so prod next ship date as next ship date, and extract month from product next ship date as month data. So notice how in that extract command, I have the extract command and then parens around what I'm working with. I'm extracting, in this case, out the month value from that date type. And so that's where I'm going for that. And again, it's still from the product table. So I'll select that query and run that right here. And we have now 3 columns worth of information. Notice my month data, I have a 2 value. So when I use the extract month, I'm getting the numeric value of that from there. So month from that, even though month spelled out as a format mask will give me the spelled out month itself, when I use the extract command, extract is not format masking. Extract is taking it and extracting that numeric information from that date type component. And so in this case, I get 2 for Feb and 1 for Jan. And because it's null, I don't have anything to come out of that. So those are blank there as well. And so I still have my 10 rows selected. Let's take this a step further and let's use that extract command as part of our where clause so I can take my result table and squish it down. So let's take a look at that and scroll down here just a smidge. And so I'm going to use that same logic right here. I have that prod name and prod next ship date for product name and next ship date, but now I'm using the where clause to limit my results. And in this case, I'm doing the extract month from prod next ship date, and I'm only going to get the ones that have a 2 in that column. And that's why I'm going to restrict my results using the where clause to shrink that down. So I hit play right there. I go from 10 rows selected to only getting 3 rows. OMG. So by using that ability to use the extract command, I can put that in a where clause and limit my results and use that very effectively. So we can easily shrink down the number of rows or results we get by using something like an extract command. In this case, I'm using an extract month and an equal sign to go for comparing numeric values. I can also use that same approach where I'm going to use it to limit the results using a format mask, and I'm going to get the idea right here using the like operator. So in this case, I have that same thing, prod name and prod next ship date, those same 2 columns I've been working with, but in this where clause, I'm using the toChar, and I'm going to do format mask matching, so prod next ship date and then DDYY. I want to see if either of them have 07 as a value. So is it the 7th day of the month, or is it the 7th year? Oh, okay, cool. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to grab select from. So I'll grab that query, highlight it so I can run it, hit the play button, and boom, I'm now down to 7 rows this time because I'm going anytime that has the 07 value in it. And so I have the year 07 for all those values that happens to match. Notice I don't have any days right here with 07 because, well, I don't have any days that have 7 in it, but if I did, they'd be included too. And so that's a way that I can actually grab that information from there. Anytime I see 07 inside the day, or the year, it would incorporate that appropriately. So I'm using the like operator, the use of a wildcard to make sure any of them match them on there. So if 07 is anywhere in that, we had that answer and we're good to go. I'm also going to use the where clause right here. I'm going to use the select and use the where using format masking again. This time I'm going to use the equals using a string comparison. So this time I have tochar product next ship date mon equals Feb. So not Monday equals February. No. It's the month evaluation. The format mask is at FEB in caps. So I have that right there. So I'll grab that same approach right here. And this time now I'm going to get February results. So I hit that, I hit play, and boom, I'm down to 3 results matching that. So now I have the 17-inch monitor, the 19-inch monitor, and the battery backup system are the only values that actually work with this. And so I'm doing that by restricting the results using a where clause, format masks, and an equality check on a string. One of the niftier things we can also do is we can even evaluate the dates as a text, because when we're actually displaying results inside SQL, when we retrieve that information from a select clause, it's really just retrieving text values from that. And so because I'm simply just dealing with text, I can pass that parameter, in this case, prod next ship date, to a string method like inster and actually look at that and evaluate that using that. And so in this case, I want to see, is January, Jan, anywhere inside there, aka greater than 0. So I run that same command right here, and boom, I've got 4 results, the 4 January results that pop up with that, and I'm able to have that query right there. I can treat a date data type as a string for purposes of reading into the default value and simply just pass it to inster and reevaluate through that. Now, as you can see in my comments right here, if I'm looking at masked data using a format mask, I can't simply just do that same expectation of evaluation. I'm doing the same basic thing. I want to see if Jan's in there, but in this case, I'm going to use a format mask of tochar and pass it dd/mm/yyyy. And in that case, I'm never actually going to have the JAN sequence. And so my insert tochar on that Jan greater than 0 will never occur. So I'll get no results on this one because I never have Jan anywhere in there. Even though there are January dates, when I use this, I have to make sure that I'm comparing the correct type of data. And so if you're ever working with format masks or default data types, make sure you're looking at the right things, because otherwise you're going to have a problem. You're not going to get the results you're expecting. So looking at format masks is kind of a big deal. Make sure you're watching carefully how you evaluate that before you go through and do that. So again, today what we just did is we went over and we looked at how we can use the date command, how we can extract information out of date, and how we can use the date to inside a where clause to limit the results we're working with. And the extract command using tochar or using format masks and allow that to reduce the results by working through that correctly. Hope this is helpful. Cheers. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.